So I just watched Captain America Brave New World. You know, the movie the internet decided is ass before it even came out, which is just so the internet. When I heard that they were making Captain America 4 starring Anthony Mackie, I was pumped. I love the Falcon character, and after Steve Rogers handed him the mantle in Endgame, I felt this could be an exciting character journey for Falcon and an exciting storytelling opportunity for the MCU. But as we started to get the trailers and marketing material, it started to feel like Marvel doesn't have confidence in this movie. It felt like they were showing us all the goods with Red Hulk because they can't get by on their own brand alone anymore after one too many mediocre to bad projects in the last few years. I went to the movie with my partner and she somehow had no idea about Red Hulk. Somehow she missed all the spots, posters, everything. And when Ross transformed, she lost her shit. That's the potential this movie had if it just had more confidence in its cast and story to bring people to the theater. But it's also not without its issues. Like, it's got some issues. We'll get into that later. Here are some of the things that worked for me, and then I'll get into the negatives. One of the biggest things that worked about the movie is Marvel finally remembers that they can do spy thrillers again. This movie takes us back to the Winter Soldier style of storytelling. It's political intrigue, espionage, and people in suits looking stressed in dimly lit rooms. And let's be real, after years of multiverse mayhem and variants showing up every 5 minutes, it's refreshing to just focus on one universe, one story. And can I just say, watching Marvel actually be grounded again, where the stakes aren't all the realities collapsing, but instead, who can we trust? Was a breath of fresh air. Like, Sam actually takes damage. He's never in mortal danger, but he bleeds a lot in this movie. You feel like he's in danger when he's in combat. No magical healing factor, no timeline resets, just a man trying to survive with a juiced up Wakandan supersuit. And the commitment to take themselves seriously again. No forced cringy comedy, just natural moments of levity, the way it should be in this type of movie. A real throwback in a few ways to Marvel Phase 2 that was greatly missed. Alright, so let's talk about the man of the hour, Captain America, Sam Wilson. I really like how the movie explores why he hasn't taken the super soldier serum. It's one of the biggest questions people had since Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And this film finally gives us a solid answer, and it makes sense to the fundamentals of the character, regardless of how much it handicaps him when up against formidable foes like Red Hulk. Sam isn't Steve Rogers. He's a man trying to live up to the symbol that's bigger than him. And by the end of the movie, you totally buy why he's the one that carries the shield. He's a completely new iteration of Captain America, for better or for worse, and it totally worked for me. Oh, and Isaiah Bradley was so good in this. He was one of the best things about Falcon and Winter Soldier. His scenes add the emotional core that makes this whole thing feel personal for Sam. Now let's talk about the Hulk in the room. Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Ross. When they announced that he was taking over for the late great William Hurt, I wasn't so sure how that would go and thought maybe they should choose someone younger just for the longevity of the character, but he actually brings some real depth to the role. He's not just grumpy government man, he has a few heartfelt moments that genuinely worked. But let's be honest, the real headline is Red Hulk. Yes, it does happen in here. It's not just in the trailers and all the posters. It's at the very end for about 5 minutes. The fight between him and Cap is one of those sequences that Marvel would have kept a secret if it were 2019. Imagine sitting in the theater completely blind to the reveal and just watching Red Hulk burst into the screen. That would have been peak. But because of the leaks and Marvel not having enough confidence in their cast and story to sell the movie, it doesn't hit as hard as it could have. Still, it's a great fight. And just to add to that, I actually think that the pacing of this works really well. Didn't really feel it for the runtime, and with it being under 2 hours, I think that really did help. Okay, let's get into what did not work about the movie. The action, I think, could have hit a lot harder. The fight choreography was fine, but after movies like Winter Soldier and Shang-Chi, I wanted something more impactful. And maybe part of this is because Sam is just a man and not a super soldier, but at least steady the cam and show us some bare knuckle brawling. The score was actually really good, matched the political thriller tones perfectly, but we desperately needed a theme for Cap. Maybe even bring in some of the original score from Winter Soldier. It would help bring out that emotion. I just felt it could have gone a lot harder than this. Giancarlo Esposito is in the movie, but barely. He's great in the scenes he's in, but he's underused because they're just teeing him up for another project. The main villain reveal is fine. It's a nice throwback to the earlier MCU conspiracies, but the motivations feel kind of weak, and the master plan thing kind of fell flat for me. The story just felt unfocused, and there's some bad writing with heavy exposition, which I imagine came through in the reshoots of this when people were scratching their heads, not sure what was happening. It just comes out so sloppy in this. By the end, I I wanted more focus, a stronger antagonist, and slightly longer runtime to let certain moments breathe and develop parts of the story and characters. At the end of the day, Captain America Brave New World is an enjoyable entry in the MCU. It doesn't reach the heights of like a Winter Soldier, but it's far from the worst thing Marvel has put out recently. If anything, it proves that Marvel can still make good, grounded stories. Is it perfect? No. But it does make me excited to see Sam Wilson's future as Captain America. This movie could have been so much better. There are some great ideas here. For that, Captain America Brave New World gets a 3 out of 5 stars from me. Subscribe for more reviews soon. Have you seen the movie? What'd you think? There's a post-credit scene at the very end, so stick around for that if you're interested. As far as post-credit scene goes, it's not that great, to be honest.